Hi, kids. I hope you're doing well. In the past weeks, I've been talking about some kids who did some things wrong. So I thought it was only fair that I tell a story about something I did wrong when I was a little boy, or not so little. Because believe it or not, when Pastor Alex was little, he sometimes did things wrong. No, don't try to. No, no, don't try to deny it. It happened. It happened. Well, you could try to deny it a little bit. I mean, that silence was kind of embarrassing. Come on. Well, anyway, this story involves something that happened when I was about 12 or 13, and it involves kind of a miracle. Now, a miracle is something that only God can do. And in one sense, I see miracles every day because I pray every day, and every day I see God answer my prayers. Sometimes something will happen that I asked Him to do, or sometimes something will happen at just the right time when I need it to happen. And I see God answering my prayers in wonderful ways. So, in a way, if you pray a lot, you'll see miracles every day. You'll see God work every day. But there have been a handful of times in my life when I saw God do something supernatural, I thought. And that means above the ordinary, out of the ordinary that, only God can do. So this is one of those times. And I was in sixth or seventh grade, and I got invited by one of my friends for a sleepover party. And he had a tent in his backyard, so he invited a bunch of us guys, I think, or 4 or 5 of us, to come over his house and get some pizza and then to camp out overnight. And I was very excited because he had invited a lot of the cool guys in school, and I was kind of popular, but I wasn't one of the real cool guys. So I thought, oh, this is my chance. I can be very popular. I can be one of those cool guys. And so I went to the sleepover, and we had our pizza. We had some fun games inside, and then we went out to sleep. It was about 10 o'clock, and we're in the backyard. And one of the guys says, "Hey, let's sneak out of here. And it's really dark, and let's go let some air out of the tires of people's cars in the neighborhood." And that's a really mean thing to do. It's not a nice thing or smart thing to do. But for a kid, it sounded exciting. But it's really not a nice thing to do because the person wakes up and they can't go to work in the morning or school, and it causes problems for people. So you shouldn't do that. But I wanted to be one of the cool guys, so I wanted to impress everybody. I said, "Okay, yeah, let's go, let's go." So we went around the neighborhood for a while. The first car we got to, it was a good thing. It was kind of a broken down car anyway. They weren't using it anyway, so we let a little air out of one tire. And then we went to another house and we let air out of another tire, which was a good car. So that it wasn't flat all the way, but probably the guy had to go to the gas station and fill it. So we weren't being very nice. But then something really strange happened. We were walking, and all of a sudden, this is a true story, my legs wouldn't work anymore. My legs stopped working. I couldn't walk. I was trying to get up and I couldn't. My legs didn't work. And my friend said, "Come on, you're chicken. Why don't you come with us? You're chicken. You don't want to get caught. That's why you're not walking." I said, "No, I can't walk. I can't walk." And I believe that God kind of struck my legs so that I couldn't walk, so I couldn't get into trouble because I might have gone into the cool guys set and I might have become one of the cool guys, quote unquote, but then I wouldn't have, I might have gone down some very bad pathways, ways God didn't want me to go in life. And so I think God struck me in mercy. And then as soon as the guy said, "Okay, let's just go home," my legs started working again. Now, some doctors or psychiatrists who are doctors of the mind, they might say, "Well, this was Alex's mind playing tricks on him." Sometimes our minds can affect our bodies. Like if we're worried about something, our stomachs will get upset like that. And that's what's called a psychosomatic illness. Something psycho your mind and soma your body. You can ask your parents about that. That'll help you kill some time in this quarantine time. But anyway, I don't think it was that because I didn't feel guilty about it. I didn't feel conflicted about it. I wanted to do it, and I think God just struck me. But it teaches a valuable lesson that you know if you have to do bad things in order for your friends to like you, then you probably need to find some new friends, and or at least get your friends say to your friends, "We can't do this kind of bad stuff anymore." And if they won't change, then don't hang out with them anymore. But it's more important that we be pleasing to God and make Him happy than we be pleasing to people and make them happy. Here's the Bible verse I have for today. It's John 5:44. How can you believe when you receive glory from one another and do not seek the glory that comes from the only God? What that means, the word glory means praise. So how can you believe when you receive praise from one another and do not receive the praise that comes from the only God? In other words, if you're just worried about your friends liking you and you're not worried about doing what's right and God liking you, that's not a good choice. You want to do what God wants you to do. So why don't you say this with me? How can you believe, you say that, when you receive glory from one another and do not seek the glory that comes from the only God? John 5:44. One more time. How can you believe when you receive glory from one another and do not seek the glory that comes from the only God? John 5:44. So that's the message for today. It's much more important to put a smile on God's face than on your friend's face, right? So remember that. Okay, guys, take care.